Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It has been quite a while since I have been on YouTube making any content, but not to worry, I have been working very hard behind the scenes of a lot of stuff, and I kind of trapped myself in a really big crochet project that I need a break from. I have put so much stuff off. I've been working on this crochet project from February till now, which is May. Well, in a few hours, it's about to be May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. So happy Cinco de Mayo. But from February to May, and it's for Mother's Day, and it's a gift for all the mothers in my life. It's my first time ever making even one adult size crochet blanket, let alone 4. I had 3 other moms added to the list, but I'm just going to buy them something nice because my hands hurt. My brain kind of hurts. I keep running out of yarn, and it's just such a big project. It is too big. And a part of me, my husband was like, this is a project you probably should have made for like Christmas. And I'm like, I could, but I keep putting everything off so much so that I'm just going to do the 4 for Mother's Day and call it a day. But right now I'm not finished with it. I have 2 of the blankets done, and then the other 2 are halfway done. So we're not going to talk about crochet. I'm not going to show you guys the crochet projects or anything like that. But I really just want to talk about and focus on anything but crocheting right now. I'm excited to get back into diamond painting or any other kind of craft, or even just crocheting something different, because the same project is just driving me so crazy right now. So I've been reading quite a lot. We're going to talk about reading. This isn't going to go into a deep dive of any of it. The first 3 books. At the first 3 books, I do have videos out on my channel already about the deep dives of them. I think. I know, maybe I haven't. I honestly don't know what I've worked on this year. I just keep putting everything off. Even my work. I haven't been grooming as much. I did in March. I groomed 109 dogs in total, and that was insane. So that's another reason I have put no effort into YouTube, because I don't put my grooming out on YouTube either. So it's just been a lot of not doing anything YouTube wise. But again, I've been crocheting a lot. I've been reading a lot. I've been grooming a lot. I've been doing a lot. So I just want to take a chance, take a break in time, and go over the books I have read so far this year. So because I knew I wanted to continue doing reading, the booktube stuff, but I also knew I was getting into crocheting, and I still want to get back into diamond painting and just other realms of artwork and creativity. How I was gonna make this year was January, read as much as possible. February, take off from reading, work on other arts and crafts, crocheting, whatever. March, read, take April off, like off and on. But then I remembered what really inspired me to read more books in general and to read more in general was Life on Books podcast. Tony saying one of the best advice he gave was just read a page a day. And so even if I'm not reading that much in 1 month, at least I am reading a page a day. So in February, I didn't read any books, and I actually realized I didn't enjoy that at all. I have such a great feeling when it's like challenging myself to read at least 1 page a day. You never know how much you're going to read. And in the months I read, I was very excited. Now, last month, I really didn't read that much. Only read 1 book because of the damn crochet project. It made me not groom as many dogs. It made me not read as many books. It has just driven me absolutely batty. I'll never do a crochet project this big again. But I do have more crochet. I'm not hating crochet. I just need a break. A much needed break. But enough about that. I may talk films I've seen because I'm beginning to be interested in some films coming out. If you guys are longtime subscribers, you remember that I actually started this channel being a film reviewer. Well, this year, kind of toward the end of last year, especially the lineup of what I saw this year, I just lost my drive for films. But I have seen, I think, 4 films this year, and I haven't hated any of them. I think I remember them all, so they're just 4. So, but I have quite a few that I'm like kind of getting excited about again. So we may touch about films later. Again, we're going to mostly talk about books, and this isn't a deep dive on any of these books. I will do a deep dive on some of them. Again, the first 3, I believe I have information. If they're not full-length videos about the first 3 books, I know they're in my shorts, my YouTube shorts, which I was doing a lot of that content as well because it's very, it's a lot quicker, and it's a lot quicker to make, it's a lot quicker for people to view, and it's a lot quicker to get more views, more subscribers. So I've been kind of doing that route. It's kind of the cash grab way of doing it, but whatever. I do miss longer videos, and I know some people think I ramble. I do ramble. I don't script the stuff out, and it's just off the cuff. But I want to challenge myself to just start doing it. Stop making an excuse. Oh, I have to finish these blankets. Oh, I have to grooming. I won't put on YouTube, but like I have to do so many things that it is hard. I really wish I could be someone who enjoyed vlogging, where you just pick up a camera and show your day. But that is exhausting because you have to like set the camera up before you do the thing that you're doing. And then it reminds me kind of like if you think back to like Laguna Beach and the hills and how they say a lot of that stuff was reenacted. Like they had the raw moment, but the cameras weren't on them. So then you'd have to set up again and then recreate that moment, and of course recreate it a little bit not more outlandish because they're a reality TV show, but you do recreate it differently because it is no longer authentic, and I just don't like that. That's why I don't script stuff either. I just like it being authentic. If that comes off like drywall to some people, then I'm not the YouTuber for you to watch, and you can go watch anybody else and comment on a positive comment on anybody else's channel. If you don't like mine, you can just go like, oh, that's not for me. Move on. That's cool. Starting off, we are going to talk about the books I've read, obviously, this year. And the first one I read, even though I started the second book this year, I got a little bit tired of it, kind of like the crochet blankets, and I needed a break. And this is kind of what this is for me, where I'm like, I need to go back to something else. So I picked up this book last Christmas. I Found a Circus Tent in the Woods Behind My House is by Ben Farthing, and it's a very short story. It's only 98 pages, but I did enjoy it. It was really interesting. Definitely not as scary as It, like I read last year. In fact, it's been a year since I read It and got back to reading and joined BookTube, and I just love reading. But this is a very good book. Again, I do have more information on either a short or a video. I can't remember which one it is, and I'll link that down below. But I do recommend it. I thought it was a really good read. Obviously read it in just one day, so I liked it. I enjoyed it. I'm also not giving stars or ratings to these books. I'm just quickly talking about them. The next book I read, which is the first book I started this year. Actually, I started reading it at the end of last year. And that's Skeleton Crew by Stephen King. As you guys know, I started down a Stephen King whole journey last year. I started with It by Stephen King, which is a crazy way to start, but I started with It by Stephen King. And then I read Needful Things, The Long Walk, Needful Things. What else did I read? I know I read more. No, The Shining. Duh. But I wanted to do this year where I'd start off with the Dark Tower series. I didn't start off the year with it, but we'll get to the Dark Tower soon. Sooner than I thought, let's say. But I started with Skeleton Crew, and this is actually a series of short stories from Stephen King. It has stories like The Monkey in It. I already can't remember Oh, I have my notes. That's why I have my notes. Ha ha ha. I'm not going to talk about, again, all the stories and stuff. This one I do have, I know where I listed my my favorite to least favorite, or least favorite to favorite. I can't remember how I did it in a short, but I did enjoy, for the most part, all these stories. They're very enjoyable. The only thing about this book, I will say, is why I needed to take a break and go visit a random circus in the backyard and behind my house, in the woods behind my house. The trope of Stephen King's endings not being the greatest. Oh, it also has the story of The Mist in here, which was very, I remember watching it when I was a kid, but reading it and then rewatching it, it was such a journey and it's really good. I liked it a lot, and I liked how they changed the ending. At first, I didn't really like it, but I think it left it a lot more dark. And kind of with the movie I just watched the other day, I watched Hokum, Hokum, the other night, and it's about an author who is trying to finish a book, and they kind of seemed like they were poking a jab at Stephen King. Like, I could have seen if that was a story by Stephen King, it could have been very meta, because they're like, oh, well, your ending sucks. Like, it just sucks. And he's like, well, you could become a film maker and make the ending better. I felt that in this. I didn't feel it in It, Needful Things, The Long Walk. And at first, The Long Walk, I read that before the film came out last year. And at first, I didn't like the changes to the film, but I watched it a few more times and I actually enjoyed the changes to both. I think both of them live very ambiguously. And I understand why they flipped it like that. It makes sense now. I just had to watch it a couple times. But none of those endings in any of those books last year were like draining on me to read. But reading the same wash, rinse, repeat ending over and over and over for, gee golly whiz, I think there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. About 22 stories, short stories. It was exhausting. It was so exhausting that I did have to take a break from it. But I did enjoy reading the short stories all last year, because not only did I read Stephen King's Skeleton Crew, I also read his son Joe Hill. I also read his son Joe Hill's short story collection, 20th Century Ghosts, where you get the infamous Black Phone story that I infamously do not enjoy the second film, because that just was like a Freddy Krueger knockoff, and I did not enjoy the idea that they even came up with the second one, because I think it was good as one and done personally, but to each their own, I suppose. I'm just not interested on their make-believe version of the Grabber. I liked him for who he was, and the end. But what I enjoyed about reading short stories, and we're going to talk about another set of short stories here soon, is that I have such a difficulty. The reason it took me so long to get back to reading from 13 years ago, back when I was a substitute teacher and I was reading all the time, I wasn't calculating how much I read back then, but it was like a no-brainer for me to read. But I would read the same stories over and over again, and I had such a difficult time picking up a new book and just reading it. And I don't read the backs of the books. It's kind of like how I go into films now, like Hokum. I had no idea what that film was about. I did barely watch a trailer, and I did not enjoy my experience watching the trailer. But with books, I don't read the back of the books. I don't want to know what they're about. I go in completely blind. And I never would have been able to do that 13 years ago, because I only wanted to know the characters I knew. And if I vibed with them, I didn't want to leave them. And the last story I read in this section over here, I kind of feel the same way. I'm already going on to a new story, but it's a story I know so well because I'm having a hard time wanting to go meet new people, but I know I will, and I know I'll have a good time. But this one I really did enjoy reading. The next one, again, I did mention them before, Life on Books podcast. Tony from there recommended this book, and it's a set of short stories as well. It's called The Trees Grew Because I Bled There by Eric LaRocca. Now, he recommended this book because it's, in the opinion of him, very disturbing. Ish for me. Again, I think if you compare this set of short stories with Skeleton Crew and 20th Century Ghosts by Joe Hill, of all those stories, You Will Hear the Locust Sing is the most disturbing of all of those, and that was written by Joe Hill, and that one haunts me to this day. It's very, there is a lot of body gore in The Trees Grew Because I Bled There, but none of them were that as grasping for me as they may have been for Tony from Life on Books podcast for him to recommend it. Would I recommend it? Yeah, but it wasn't the best of all the short stories. I read it. I may have read this one in a day too. I don't even know how many pages it was. Go back. Let's see. Skeleton Crew was 573 pages. And then this one was also, I may have read this in 1 or 2 days. I can't remember, but it was 173 pages. So I could see myself knocking that out in a day. The only reason it takes me so long to read books is because of how many jobs and other things I am doing in life. Grooming takes up so much of my time and effort, and because not only am I just like grooming dogs, but it's like owning my own business, running the books, all that stuff. It just is, my phone's blowing up 24/7, and it's just sometimes annoying. It takes a lot of time, so that's the reason. I usually read in the morning. I read in between customers picking up their dogs, about to drop their dogs off, so it's not like I can sit there for 3 hours straight like Ian Googley can. I like envy the way he can get a book done like it in 2 days. It took me 3 months, but at that time I was a substitute teacher. But again, only during the kids' break time was I able to read. I couldn't just sit there and carve out 3 hours of their school time for me to read it to make 2 days worth. Like, it's just, my schedule's very busy and it sucks. But it's okay. I'm reading more than I used to. So that's what's important. And I really do credit Tony from Life on Books with the advice of read just 1 page a day. You'll be surprised how much you read. This set of 3 is what I finished in January. And it totaled the page number of 844 pages in January. After I read The Trees Grew Because I Bled There, I had every intention of going straight into Stephen King's The Dark Tower and starting that whole journey. Mike reads books. I'll recommend, if you really want, you could either start one of 2 ways. You could go down chronologically, publication order of how Stephen King wrote all his books, or start with The Dark Tower, because that's where a lot of the lore and the multiverse come from. I had the book Insomnia. I still haven't read it because after I finished It by Stephen King, I saw Insomnia and I saw that it was still in the town of Derry. I didn't want to leave Derry. Again, I get very attached to places and people and books, and they said they recommend reading The Dark Tower. It'll make books like Insomnia make sense. So I was like, oh man, that's going to be a lot because there's like 8 books in the Dark Tower series. So after I finished reading these 3 books, I was going to read The Dark Tower. The most random itch to go down, yes, a journey, but an unexpected one. But one I've already been down, not 13 years ago, but more like 20-ish years ago when I was like in high school. And I just wanted to join a little hobbit on an unexpected journey. And I picked up The Hobbit. Again, I have already read this. I have no idea why I picked it back up, but I finished this very quickly. It's 305 pages. It's very easy for me to read because I know the story like the back of my hand. I think for me on reread, the two most interesting things is I did completely forget that Bilbo finds the ring already in The Hobbit, but obviously he would because that's what starts the whole, kickstarts the whole journey. But Sauron is not mentioned in the book of The Hobbit, his uprising, unlike in the films where they added him to be, that's another main part of the story. Also, something interesting, and I'm now, spoiler, reading The Fellowship of the Ring currently, but in both those, Bilbo had told, in the films, Bilbo keeps the ring, the finding of the ring, his possession of the ring, his ownership of the ring. He keeps it secret and he keeps it safe. But in the book, he tells the dwarves, he tells Gandalf, and in the Fellowship, he went ahead and told Frodo. And he told him about his whole plan about disappearing on the 9th of his 111th birthday. Like, they knew what was going to happen. It still works out and everything, but I thought it was so odd. I liked how in the film, Gandalf is like, is there something you're needing to tell me? And he's like touching the ring. He's like, well, I found something. And he's like, what did you find? It's like, and it's that big build-up with the music. And he's like, my courage. He's like, well, that's good. You'll need it. But I liked how nobody knew about the ring. To me, that made it more powerful and more, I don't know, just them knowing like, oh yeah, Bilbo has this ring. Oh yeah, he's going to disappear this night. Oh yeah. That was weird to me, but besides that, I really love this story. It really is getting me ready for a journey of, I think, my start to fantasy, because last year was very Stephen King horror with It, and what else was horror? I don't know, because I wouldn't consider The Long Walk or Needful Things horror, but whatever, fantasy for sure, and I really enjoyed it. So it was unexpected but very enjoyable. And then I ended up reading, I started this book on Kindle Unlimited, but I cannot read digitally because my phone, go off way too much. I am trying to read digitally, trying to highlight my favorite parts. When, hey, can you get, I don't know, I'll say a dog that I don't actually groom, but so no one feels called out. But can you get Fifi in today? And it's like, no, I can't get Fifi in. I can get Fifi in next week. You don't have any sooner available. Now I'm pulled out of the book. I have to answer this pet parent, or someone else is messaging. It's just on a phone. I'm trying to limit my screen time, and it's just way too distracting because once I finish booking that appointment, then I get back on Facebook. I start doing the reels, like looking at the reels, and just get lost. So it took me like 3 months, maybe, I think starting like January, I started The Housemaid by Frida McFadden, and it took me, I don't even know, like 3 months to get to page 50. I went and just bought the physical copy where I could put my phone down, just put some ambiance music in the background, got it done in like 2 days. It's 325 pages long. I enjoyed it at first. However, I wish there was like, and I watched this, so I've read this so I could watch the movie that came out. However, I really wish there had been some disclaimers about it, or trigger warnings, so to speak. I liked the idea of it when I thought it was the mom being weird to the housemaid, and it's going to be like, I don't know, some weird, she had some crazy secret or something. I don't know exactly what I expected, because again, I don't read the back. I don't watch the trailers. I did watch the trailer originally, like the teaser trailer. I think that's all I usually watch, is just the teaser trailers. And I knew she seemed crazy, because she's like, oh yeah, here's your house key. Yeah, have fun. And then she's locked in the house, and I'm like, oh, that crazy bitch, you know? So I thought it was going to be that. When they flip it, not to spoil it, but at the same time, I wish someone had given me a trigger warning. When they flip it to where it's not the wife, it's not the housemaid, but they are the victims of circumstances that make them go after each other, which is just, I don't know. The fact that they're the victims, it's unsettling. If you've been in a situation where someone's so controlling, they don't even like that the roots of your hair are growing out. Yeah, some people would not like that right now. Someone in the book would not like that right now about me, which is fine. Don't know, don't care, and I don't put up with that bull anymore. If you've been in a controlling situationship, triggering. But I did like how at the end, I will give it, I did enjoy it. I did like how at least the women end up getting along in the end and thanking each other and not being obsessed over this weirdo that was a bad person. So it wasn't as enjoyable as I thought it was going to be. But I did finish it, and overall it was a good read. Now we get to start the big journey, and it is a big journey. I'm kind of on two journeys, because like I said, I am currently reading The Fellowship of the Ring right now. So I am on that journey, but I know that journey pretty much like the back of my hand. There's just a lot more detail about family ties and everyone's background. But I finally started. So the next book we started down the journey of the Dark Tower, starting with the Gunslinger. Now, I'm not going to go into complete details. This isn't a full synopsis of the Dark Tower. I will do that when I'm finished completely with the series. And obviously this by Stephen King, I don't think I said that, but it is. This is 251 pages. This is just going to be a quick synopsis of these two stories. I had seen the film with Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey when it came out in 2017, I believe. I don't remember anything about it. I just know Idris Elba played the gunslinger and Matthew McConaughey played the man in black. I do still imagine Idris Elba as the gunslinger, and that becomes very awkward during this when they try to describe Brolin and his features, and I'm like, oh, he's supposed to not look anything like Idris Elba, but that's still who I'm imagining in my head. But I really enjoyed this. It was a little bit difficult to get into at first, but boy, when it gets going, I really did enjoy it. Watching the film to now reading the story, it doesn't seem like it matches at all. I haven't reread it. I will reread it again once I'm done with the entire series, but I don't remember them being in a Western scene. I don't remember the city of the town of Toll at all. I don't remember Allie. I don't remember the highlighting the number 19, and oh my gosh, if you know what I mean by the number 19, I want to know. I find it silly in a way that Allie finds out what 19 is and then begs for her life to be ended, because it's like, you now know everything, and you know when your life ends where you're going. Like, I don't know, that idea is crazy. But I really like this. It was, yes, based in the desert, kind of a Western theme. But the thing that's confusing me, and I think they said it's going to make more sense the more you go down this journey, like in book 6 or something, is the man in black. His name is Walter. But I thought the man in black, and I could be right, I thought I was wrong, but I may be right, that he is Randall Flagg from The Stand. I've never read The Stand. That was my mom's favorite book. I thought she read The Dark Tower, but there's a comical little story about that I'm not going to say because it was awkward, but I don't think she's read The Dark Tower, but she has read The Stand. I know that for sure. I actually got that for her Mother's Day one year, was The Stand. But Randall Flagg, I think, is like the big main honcho bad guy of Stephen King lore. So I think it's something like the Man in Black goes by Roland, and he's really Randall Flagg, something like that. I don't know. I think the pieces are all going to come together. But even though this isn't horror, it's more fantasy, and it's interesting being on two different journeys. I thought that was going to be so confusing, but I'm reading the books at a time. So I'm reading The Hobbit first, and I know that pretty well. Now I'm going into this, and then I read the second book to continue that journey, and now I'm going back to the Fellowship of the Ring. And I did like this one, but even though it's not horror, the body horror of what happens to little Jake is so sad. And I think my favorite thing though about this is it's what Jake said. Go then. There are other worlds than this. This is so multiverse. I love it. And the way they explore the multiverse is so interesting because I think in this, Jake, little Jake, he loses his life and he just wakes up in this world where Roland is, in this deserted world. And he ends up losing his life in this life too, because Roland basically just leaves him hanging, literally, he leaves him hanging. And he says, help me, help me. And Roland is so obsessed with finding the Man in Black, to find the Dark Tower. He doesn't care what lives he has to sacrifice. So he just simply turns away, and he hears Jake say, go then, there are other worlds than this. Kind of in a way saying, I'll see you again. And he hears him falling to the end of his life, and it's just so eerie, but it's so good. But the Man in Black and him do talk it out, and he basically tells him that there's 7 cards, and he'll have to draw all 7. And that made sense the instant they were talking about the cards, because the next book is called The Drawing of 3. And it's The Dark Tower, Book 2, obviously by Stephen King. And if you see, they have 3 cards right there. But the cards are actually doors. Before I get into that one, reading these 3, The Hobbit, The Housewife, and The Gunslinger, that brought my March number, because again, I skipped February and I regret doing that, so I'm not doing that again. I'm not going to skip a whole month. But that brought my total to 881 for that month. Okay, so there are 7 cards that we're still talking about the Gunslinger. There are 7 cards that the Man in Black makes Roland, he goes over with Roland, and there's the Hangman, the Sailor, the Prisoner, the Lady of the Shadows, Death, Yet Not For You, the Tower, and then the 7th one, Life, But Not For You. So those are the 7 cards. And the reason the cards are important is because in the next book is called The Drawing of 3, and he is going to draw 3 of those cards, the first 3 cards. And I love the setup of this book. And so far this year, this is my favorite book this year. I love this book. It's kind of the same thing as the Freida McFadden, the Housemaid book. The first stretch of it was very difficult for me to read, again, just because of how busy I was. But I've stopped being like, oh, I can only read so much. So I don't know. I think I just was like in a slump of like making everything an excuse. And in this month, I only read The Drawing of the 3 because I was really into the crocheting project. And so I was using that as an excuse for a while, up until I believe I think when I reached halfway through the book, I just was like, just read it. Who cares? This project is going to take me forever. Just read until it's not a good book anymore, and I finished it in 2 days. So, because it's such a good book. I love this book. I love this one, honestly, more than The Gunslinger, but Mike reads books, said in some of his videos that a lot of people recommend to skip The Gunslinger, and that makes no sense. If you just started with Drawing of the Three, Jake gets referenced a lot. If you didn't read The Gunslinger, you won't know who Jake is. If you didn't read The Gunslinger, you won't know who the Man in Black is, because he doesn't make an appearance in here. He talks to Roland a little bit in his head, but that's like about it. And the way, talk about multiverse, the way they do the multiverse thing in the Drawing of the Three, it's no longer just like you pass away and then you wake up, like reincarnation, and you wake up in a new world. It's like, if you know what dissociative identity disorder is, where you literally have somebody else living inside you, and it's like you black out at times, and this other person is living this life for you. That's kind of what they like go into here. So Roland, it opens up with him just having a bad time. It's been years. The Man in Black is just a skeleton at this point because it's been so long. And he wakes up in this weird desert where these lobster type creatures come up and ask, "Did a chick? Dumb a chum? Dad a cham? Did a check?" And then they do a lot of damage to Roland, and Roland ends up very, very in a bad state. He is mangled and just going through it. He's lost some of his body parts. He has an infection that is going straight to his heart. He is not doing good. And it's kind of like he needs a new body. So it's interesting. He sees this door just in the middle of the desert, and on it says The Prisoner. The first cards, it's actually the third, it says, because the first one was the Hangman, second is the Sailor, the third is the Prisoner, and this one says The Prisoner. And it's so interesting. I'm not going to get into all of it because, again, this isn't a deep dive. I can't wait to go into the deep dive of this. But the Prisoner is actually Eddie Dean, and he basically, it's so interesting. He opens the door and he sees New York City. He's never been to New York. He only knows the Wasteland. Not the Wastelands, because that is actually one of the titles of the books. Is it the Wastelands? I don't know. I haven't read that book. But he's only known this Western type of life. So he's never been to New York. He doesn't know modern time. He sees New York and he's like, do I go through the door or do I not? And when he goes through the door, he can move the person he's seeing New York from, the viewpoint. He starts being able to move for this guy. And Eddie Dean kind of blacks out and doesn't remember anything. And there's a point he looks through a mirror and he can see it's kind of like the Substance when her new version's eye is like bullying the other eye. Like he sees the other eye. It's so interesting. But he basically meets three people. The Sailor, not the Sailor, the Prisoner, the Lady of the Shadows, and Death. And Not For You. And that one's interesting. That one was very interesting. I'm not going to, again, go into everything, but I just really had a good time with this story. And I just really recommend reading both and getting the full story of it. I can't imagine. I honestly, even as a kid, couldn't imagine just picking up the Fellowship of the Rings and just going with it. Like, they even have it in the Fellowship of the Rings, kind of like previously on The Hobbit. Even with the previously on The Hobbit, read The Hobbit first. I don't know, I'm weird. Go in order. It may not be as good as the second book, but it ties in. It makes sense. And I can't wait to read the next story in The Dark Tower. And that was all I read, again, in April. So I only read 399 pages in April, which is my lowest amount this year. But I've already read 2,164 pages this year. And I just really still love the advice from Tony from Life on Books. Just read 1 page a day. You will be so surprised how much you read, because this is me skipping a whole month of reading. And this is me being a slow reader too. I'm not a fast reader. I can't read it in 2 days. And this would be very limited time. And then today, I actually started the Fellowship of the Ring. And in between waiting on my pet parents, I'm already on page 45 and on chapter 2. So, absolute love it already. It's, again, different. Frodo knows about the ring. He doesn't know about the details of the ring. He knows it makes Bilbo disappear. And I don't know, I just like how in the movie it was his secret. He is the only one who knew that the ring could be a party trick like that. It's weird that Gandalf and them were just like, oh yeah, you're gonna disappear tonight. I don't know. But it is what it is. The book came first. You don't have to play the whole which came first, the chicken or the egg or the chicken or the egg. It was the book. And I don't think I read the books of The Lord of the Rings before the films. And that could be why it bothers me, because I'm so used to the films first. But with Harry Potter, I mentioned that because with Harry Potter, I definitely read the books first before the films, because I read the books as they were coming out when I was young. I have reread them, but not since doing book 2. I should reread Harry Potter, but I will probably do that when my child is a little bit older. And once I'm done reading all the books, no offense, I want to read first. I've reread Harry Potter to ad nauseum, that as a kid, from a kid to like young adult, like in my 20s, that it's not my first go-to series to be like, oh, I want to go reread Harry Potter. I'll reread it with my niece, but besides that, I don't have to drive right now to reread it. Right now, I'm all about these two, both of them. I absolutely love going back down The Lord of the Rings and then also The Dark Tower. Oh my god. Okay guys, those are the 7.5 book I have read so far this year. And I just really, again, needed a break from the crochet project and just talk about all the adventures I've been on this year. It's been so much fun. Reading to me is just such a fun adventure. All the things you get to witness and see, and I just love it. So, what are you guys reading? Let me know. Don't ruin The Dark Tower for me, but let me know, do you agree that you should read the full Dark Tower? That the gunslinger does matter? Because if you don't know the gunslinger, how do you know Roland? How do you know the Man in Black? How do you know Jake? Because I heard Jake is coming back. So, interesting. But let me know if you've read The Dark Tower. Let me know if you've read any of these books. And thank you for joining me. And I will see you soon. We're, again, going to definitely go down a deep dive of The Dark Tower once I've read all of them. I'm not going to do individual recordings of each book, unless you guys would prefer that. Would you prefer an individualized breakdown of each Dark Tower book as I read it? Or would you like an all-encompassing of all 8? Maybe that would be a long video, especially with the way I ramble. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. And yeah, happy reading, happy crocheting if you are crocheting, or any creativity that you are doing. Just enjoy what you are doing. And I'll see you guys next time. I'll actually see you guys probably not on Mother's Day, but around Mother's Day, because I am working on the crochet video of the Mother's Day gift. So I'll see you soon. All right, bye.